had to take the headphones off so you guys could see how good my hair looked today, baby. Man, I knew I had to do a podcast when I saw how good my hair looked. I got up, conditioned, as I do every day. Not every day, but conditioned. Went to the dog park, and then I looked in the mirror, and I was like, God dang. Look over to my friend. I say, hey, dude. Why didn't you fucking tell me that my hair looks so goddamn good? Come on, man. You gotta let me know. But, anyways, it's a beautiful day out. Thought I'd get outside, do a little podcast for y'all. Thought I'd, for those of you who like to hear me bullshit. I'm trying to fast today. Feel good. I think I'm more productive when I try to fast. That's when I get into these podcasting moods, is when I'm fasting, because I'm like, okay, what can I do besides fucking eat? You know what I mean? And that's such a crazy thing, like eating and correlating it with like being overweight, or like, I'm a chunky guy, so it's like when I get bored or stressed out, I notice I eat. So when I fast, I get creative, man. I'm like, God, I think most of my videos consist of fasting, jacking off, social issues, and like other douchey stuff, you know. That's crazy. I'm sure people are like tired, but you know what? If you just are tuning in, then you're like, hey, this guy might be interesting. I don't know. But number one podcast in the world, baby. Spread the word. Spread the word. Shout out to my editor. I'm not going to say his name because I don't know if he wants to be incognito or not. But he's doing a good job editing these videos. And also, he's going to help me out. We're going to make some t-shirts. I got some t-shirts on the way. I make a lot of promises to you guys. Like saying I got a camera and stuff like that. I mean, which I've been trying to. But I just had a couple setbacks and stuff. But it's okay, man. It's okay. I'm still rocking with the laptop camera. I still look good. Baby. I had no idea what I wanted to talk about last podcast. I just was going on a roll about shit. This one, I don't even know, man. I don't even know. I just don't know. What is that from? I just don't know, baby. Oh, it's from Malibu's Most Wanted. I just don't know. I think it's on Forrest Gump, too. I just don't know, Forrest. I just don't know. I don't know. I'm a big movie guy, in case you guys couldn't tell. Oh, God. Man, if you're from the Midwest, you know the weather, the struggle with the weather is fucking real, man. Because it's always changing constantly. That's such a big thing. Just the weather constantly changing and just being drastic. Ugh. I don't know. But, yeah, I went to the dog park today. Me and my buddy, we went. Just had our dogs walk around, checking out the dog park. I know the trails pretty well. Found some new ones. I love it. I love the outdoors, man. I'm not a very outdoorsy guy, but I love the outdoors. I like messing around. I like walking around, getting out, clearing my head. It's one of the most important things. It's just to sit back and clear your head, baby. But my back's healed up from last podcast. I posted my back's healed up. I feel a lot better. I was kind of worried I had like a hernia, and I still might, because my right testicle kind of hurts. There you go, talking about my genitals again. My right testicle kind of hurts. The one thing to compare it to is like when you're getting your balls sucked on, and a girl sucks on it too hard. You're like, ah! That's what it feels like every now and then. Hopefully I'm all right. I think I'm all right. I think I might have just bruised it. I don't know how I bruised my balls, but I hope I'm good, because I'm really worried. Oh, wonderful, there's kids out. I'm really worried that I have a hernia. That'll definitely set me back, man. I do not want that, dude. Do not want that. But hey, I'm stretching out my back. I'm walking around pretty fine. Doing good. Feeling good. Feeling all right. All night. All right. But yeah, man. Just been hanging out, chilling out, feeling good like I should. Making sure that I Stretch out. That's one thing, man. You got to take care of your back, dude. Back pain is the fucking worst pain, I think, out there. You know, you got back pain, man. You're going nowhere. You know, you can't walk. Can't do nothing. I always like, you know, when I see someone like in a wheelchair and stuff, I'm always like, God, that's just so. You know, someone who's missing a leg or is in a wheelchair or something like that. I always think like, God, it sounds so selfish, but I pray that never happens to me. But a lot of people who I've noticed are like in a wheelchair or missing a leg, they have such good attitudes because they're just like they had something so shitty to them happen to them, and they make the best out of it, you know. And it's kind of a beautiful thing to see when someone just got dealt with some bad cards, and they just own it, man. You know, it's really crazy. It really is, dude. Just seeing people like that with good attitudes, it's almost like I think sometimes we need people like that in the universe. Not, I don't want that to happen to anybody, but sometimes it shows everyone else, like, hey, dude, this guy can do it. You can too. This guy can get up, work out. He has one leg. He has no legs. He has one arm. You know, it's just one of those that really motivates you to keep you going. And like I said, these guys have great attitudes. It always goes back. A lot of these solo podcasts, I'm always constantly shitting on my generation, but I can't stress enough how much like I feel like we have it so damn easy. You know, even in the COVID thing, like I know COVID's hard. It sucks if you had family members die or pass away or sick from it. It's very unfortunate. Sucks not getting together, stuff like that. But could you imagine being in like around World War II or like in the Great Depression? Like, could you really imagine that? Like that would just be. I guarantee you that was worse than this. Cause like at least where I'm at, like you could still get together. You know, I know like maybe in California and New York, it's kind of shut down, but like, man, you still can do things, man. It's just we're a little bit restricted, and it sucks wearing the mask. It sucks all of it sucks, but that's about it. It sucks. It doesn't. It's not like you're. It's not like you're gonna get drafted to war, or maybe, but as of right now, it's not like you're gonna get drafted to war or you're gonna be, worried about your parents getting taken away or your dad going to war or stuff like that, man. It's wild. What I'm actually really concerned about with this whole COVID thing is like how kids are gonna act, man. Because I really do believe that elementary school is a very important time in your life because you're growing up, man. You're around friends, you're socializing, you're really, you're not learning who you are per se, but you're just kind of learning how to be a person, really. I mean, it's the first part of your life, right? As in like socializing, it's the first time you get to socialize, and to me, it's really important. And God, these kids like not going to school and not being around each other, and even just like having masks on, not seeing faces, not seeing people smile and stuff like that. That is just to me crazy. It has to have some impact on these kids and how they think and their social skills. I would bet that kids 10 years from now are going to be slightly behind on social skills, man. Maybe not. Maybe they'll be better because they, and I hope, but maybe they'll be better because they're like, okay, you know what, they're going to work on it way harder, or maybe when they get together, they're going to go not nuts, but maybe go nuts and like, hang out with each other and stuff like that. I don't know, but I just feel like that's just it's going to be a hinder in us. And the thing is, socializing is already horrible from technology and stuff like that, so I cannot imagine, man. I could not imagine. God, I really got into it. I'm proud of myself. I got into something. I had no notes, nothing, and I just got right into it. Fucking hallelujah. God bless it, as my buddy Patrick would say. God bless America. But yeah, dude, fuck. I just hope this shit gets over with, man. I'm so tired of it. But once again, back to what I was saying, we're not that tough, man. We're not. That's including myself. I'm a pussy. Compared to like my parents and grandparents, mainly my grandparents, I'm a fucking pussy, dude. Like, I have not, I've dealt with some things and I've talked about on here that maybe some other people haven't, but I've never dealt with something like that my grandparents dealt with, you know what I mean? And I'm sure there's some kids and some people my age that have dealt with some really hard times, but I know for a fact I haven't, compared to what some people go through. And I think that's one thing you need to admit. It's okay to talk about your hardship and your hard times. And sometimes I do it a little too much, and I catch myself because I really realize, like, dude, I'm in a middle class fucking neighborhood. My mom has a good job. So what if my parents would have. I grew up with divorced parents. I'd rather have my parents divorced anyways. You got to look at the bright side. You can't be crying about shit that happened to you as a kid all the time. There were some things that happened that sucked, as a kid, and gave me some characteristics for sure. But man, you meet people in bad neighborhoods and people who have even someone in a bad neighborhood, like even they probably feel like they could have it worse, because they probably have cousins that have it worse, or they know people that have it worse. And then you think about just living in this country as a whole, like, God, people complain so much about this country, but dude, I mean, we really have it so spoiled. We have it so damn good nowadays. We just you could live in another country where you don't have running water, or you're in a village, and God, people just like working at school, or people who are just glad to have pencils. You know what I mean? I was watching this UFC fighter on Rogan. He's talking about how I can't pronounce his name, otherwise I'd say it, but Naguada, whatever. Um, he he really like had it bad. Had to dig holes for where he lived, where he grew up in this village, and had to walk to school. And he lived far away from school, so he had to walk. And he was poorer than the other kids in his country, so he was just blessed that he had a pencil and he worked. And you know what's crazy? When I heard that, I thought about how many fucking times have I lost my pencil at school. Like, to really think about how many times you're like, hey bro, can I borrow a pencil? Hey Becca, can I borrow a pencil? Hey Becca, like, you really, I mean, stuff just like that, dude. We take for granted. He didn't take that for granted, and now look at him. He's bashing people in the UFC like it's nothing. It's so insane. I'm talking really good right now. I really hope that background noise isn't bothering the video. Whatever. I'm just gonna post it. I don't care. But good lord, man. Seriously, back to what I was saying. Like, we take some shit for granted, and I think that's why. I really do think that's why some people get really mad. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not a guy who gets mad about people disrespecting the flag or kneeling during the anthem. I really could. I mean, it's their right to do it, right? We're in America. The fact that they're able to do that, they have the right to do that, makes us a good country, because they have some countries you can't. But I think people do get really irritated because it's like the fact that, hey, you do have the right to do that and you're disrespecting it. And I see where people are coming from when they say that. Like, hey, this is such a good country. The fact that you're able to disrespect it is just the fact that it's so good here. You know what I mean? It just shows. And it's so crazy, like, the outlook on everything, how everyone, I really wonder how everyone views this, like, outside of other countries. I have some cousins out of the country and stuff like that, and they talk about it. They have their, like, outlook and stereotypes, but man, it's just so weird. And I'm sure every other country has their own problems. Other countries that are like, like us, that are like a free country, right? And that's another thing is, like, we are a blessed country, and we are like the leader of the free world, right? And I agree on that 100%. But there are a lot of countries that are free like us, and we don't realize that on the other end of, like, we're so good. There's other countries that are really, really. It's a good country to live in, man. We're not just the only country for the people on the other side who, I wouldn't say appreciate the country too much, but maybe come off as too patriotic to some people. It's crazy. It's crazy that there are countries that are very similar to us, and we don't even realize it, man. I want to get out, man. I want to get out there because, I feel like that's another thing. When you travel, man, your opinions on things and your views on things, perspectives, they just have to change. No matter who you are, they have to, you see things differently. And not to be that guy, but if someone wants to try to argue with me about some shit, and I've been to every country, I feel like I'm gonna win. I feel like I kind of have a more. Not saying it depends on the argument, but not say that guy has a valid argument. He's been everywhere. He could tell you, oh well, this country's like this, or we're country's so terrible. Well, you could literally be like, oh, we're a pretty good country, or yeah, we are bad. You could have your own opinion on it. I don't know. It's crazy. If you guys know who Tim Kennedy is, I follow him. And he was talking about how a lot of people get mad about Americans and going over to people's countries and stuff like that. But he said, man, getting pulled out of these countries, actually we're there to help people, and we're actually like protecting these villages, and they don't want us to leave. But it's these people who don't understand that in our country. Oh, we need to leave these countries. We need to leave. But he's really just explaining, and I'm not going into depth with it. So, I mean, you could correct me on it, I guess. But in the comments, though, no. You could really, they're actually protecting these Marines, these Green Berets, and these special forces guys. They're protecting these villages and these countries, these villages and these other countries, these third world countries from intruders and stuff like that. And not even just that, they're helping them with school. There's schools being built. There's running water. They're helping them with that and stuff like that. And it's crazy, man. We always say like, oh, well, we need to get out of these countries, and I'm sure in some cases we do. But I mean, shit, if these countries want our help, then why not? I think that's another thing. I think we need to look into shit first. Which is hard because there's so much information, but we need to look into shit first and really take a good look at the situation and not just judge it from the outside. I don't know, but hey, that's really hard to say. Really hard to say. Speaking of which, gas fucking sucks, man. Gas is horrible right now. God, a lot of people get. One of my buddies was like saying how he regrets voting for Biden. And I was like, well, I didn't vote because I didn't like either one. So I can't really talk too much about it. But at the same time, I had a feeling that this was going to happen, and it did. And he's like, yeah, but I think that's kind of a Karen thing to bitch at. And I really disagree. I think gas is so valuable, man. Like, the fact that it's fucking. I mean, I'm driving everywhere, especially when I drive so much, and for people who could say, oh, that's your fault. Well, not really. I got a lot of stuff to do. I got a lot of stuff on my agenda. Yeah, I know, me, right? I'm all over the place, and I'm not alone. There's over a billion people like that. I mean, that are just life. Single moms, parents, taking your kid to practice, taking your kid to school, going to work if you work 40 minutes an hour away. I mean, this is an essential thing, man. And having gas expensive is, I mean, that's just ridiculous. You should not. That should really be. Make sure this mic is good. Oh, I hope it's been good. That's just one of those things that I don't know. I find it disrespectful when gas goes up, I guess. And it's crazy. You feel old talking, oh my God, gas went up 3 cents. And you're like, good Lord. And you feel so old talking about it, especially being in your 20s. You're like, God dang, I'm talking about gas. I remember my parents bitching about this, man. That's crazy, man. It's crazy. But on the other hand, and that's one problem I had with Biden, and I thought that was going to happen. But on the other hand, some of the shit that Trump said, I thought was just a little nuts. And I feel like him saying those things just really made our country so polarized. And I didn't think it was good for our country, so that's why I didn't vote for him. But it's wild, man. It's really wild because I think we're still fucking polarized. and the man's not in office anymore. And I really thought that maybe if he wasn't in office, we wouldn't be pulled. But dude, I don't know. I don't know. I think I weirdly think Biden and his I'm gonna butcher her name, Kamala Harris. I think they're a little extreme as well, man. Maybe not policy wise, but I think just their presence and some of the stuff they say and some of the stuff they I guess believe in or whatever. I think they might be a little extreme as well. I think every politician is, I guess, maybe is what I'm trying to say, but I don't know. I just I just think it's crazy how we, you know, there's a lot of dirt on Kamala Harris that people talk about. There's a lot of dirt on Joe Biden to talk about. There's a lot of dirt on Trump that we talk about. You know, there's not a lot of dirt on Tulsi Gabbard. You know, there's not a lot of dirt on, you know, some other really educated people. You know, people, you know, throw Elon Musk in there. I'm not saying Elon Musk could become president, or he could. I guess he couldn't because he wasn't born here. But stuff like that, like really smart, intelligent people who are even keel, I feel like they just don't get recognized, you know. I didn't like all of his policies, but he seemed like a smart guy. Was the what was his name? What's up, Ivy? Little doggies. What was his name? Andrew Yang. I thought he was a pretty smart guy. I didn't like all of his policies, didn't agree with all of them, but at least I thought he was a good guy. I like Tulsi Gabbard as well. I don't know much about Ted Cruz, but from Republicans I hear good things about him. But then I also hear like the media kind of talking shit about him, which I don't know if it's true or not. I know people got mad about him going out of town to Mexico, but I was thinking, like, if he's a Republican, then he'd be against the mask mandate, so why would it really matter? If he was a Democrat, I'd understand, because Democrats are for the mask mandate. So if he was a Democrat going out of town, I understand why he's mad, but if he's a Republican going out to Cancun or wherever he went, I don't think, like, why would you be mad at that? Like, he doesn't give a shit. Like, you knew he didn't give a shit. Maybe he was talking about mask mandates and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm not. You guys could correct me in the comments or whatever. Andy, get out of there. All these dogs, man. She say I'm a dog, but it take one to know one. All right. I'm a dirty dog. I'm a dirty dog. I'm a dirty dog. For real. That's how I feel. Make a motherfucker wanna kill. I don't think he says motherfucker. He says the N-word. I can't say that, so I say I replace it with motherfucker. It's a good song though. It's called Lap Dance by Nerd. It's a good song. Just check it out. It's in Daredevil. You ever watch that Daredevil movie? Bum bum ba da ba da bum 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 ba da ba da bum ba da 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 da. I'm an outlaw. Something you never seen before. Quick with the draw, something like that. But back to the Ted Cruz thing. A little comic relief there for you. Back to the Ted Cruz thing, or entertainment. I don't know, man. I think the whole California thing with them saying they're gonna shut people's water off and shit like that, and all of that, or whatever, and being like, you need to wear a mask, you need to do all this, you need to stay indoors, and then they're all partying together. That's fucked up, because that you were making those rules, you know, and you were expecting people to follow them, but they didn't matter to you, you know. And don't get me wrong, to an extent, it is weird that Ted Cruz would go out of town, being a politician at all, with his family. But I don't know. It's just weird. I think whenever any side fucks up, we just attack it or whatever. Anyone slips up, you know, we're human, man. We're all fucking up. I don't think anyone could do this job, run a country. I couldn't. And, you know, I think about it all the time. I'm like, God, I could run this shit. But I don't know the first thing about economics. I don't know the first thing about leadership. I don't know the first thing about any of that. I couldn't do it. You know, I always think maybe one day, I just gave my dog a bath and she's all muddy. Honey, get out of the mud, man. But you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy to me. It's wild, you know. Ooh, what else? Ah, quick with the draw. Hmm. Ray Shermer's brother charged with murder. Wow. Tom Holland and Robert Downey Jr. feuding over what? God, it's those Snapchat things again. They're so negative. So negative. Sorry, I looked at something because I'm kind of drawing a blank here, but I don't want to bring it to an end. I don't want to. I don't want to say goodbye, folks. I want to stay here for a little bit longer. You know, just a little bit longer. Just a little bit longer. I love dogs, man. I love watching them play. I love seeing them joke around. I love seeing them, just be friends, man. I love animals. There's just something about them, man. There's just something about. It's weird. Isn't it kind of weird how there's the acceptability of like, I don't even know if that's a word, of killing certain animals. Like we could kill a deer. People don't give a shit. We can kill a cow, eat it, right? But we couldn't kill a dog. Now, if we're in some other countries, you could kill a dog and eat it, but not here, right? You kill a chicken, right? No one has a pet chicken or a pet deer. Like, what if we had a pet deer? You know what I mean? Think about it. Like, would they start acting like us? Because we domesticated dogs, right? So, do you think that dogs have personalities because we domesticated them and they took on our human traits, or do you think we domesticated them because we noticed they had these goofy personalities and humanistic traits and stuff like that? I don't know. I guess if you see a pack of wild dogs, it's pretty scary, But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'd like to figure out the answer to that because you never know. Dogs, we could have done it because dogs were just like these playful people. We were like, hey, how you doing? Animals like that. But sometimes I look at a deer and I'm like, I feel like they could be a pet in the backyard. Just a deer hopping around. I don't know, though. Probably not, because deer like to run and jump. They need a lot of land, man. So probably not. Maybe dogs don't need that much land. It's kind of crazy the breeding with dogs. Here I am. Dude, this is the whitest podcast on earth. Talking about dogs. The white people know like 18 different dogs. That's funny. There's a meme I saw. It's like white people can name you like 18 different dogs, but get the two black waiters mixed up. Can't remember their names. That's funny. That's hilarious. Fucking white people. They crack me up. What's it called? Yeah, but I mean, it's just weird how we've like morphed dogs like pit bulls and labs and Jack Russells and poodles and shit like that. We've just morphed them into this, and they come from wolves, right? Maybe not all of them, but Saw a wolf dog today. Saw a half wolf, half dog today. I've seen those before. This one was like, well, actually, I've seen a bigger one before. This one was like, kind of looked like a, I don't know. It looked like I can't even describe. Those dogs with curly hair, really big, look like that. But I've seen one out in the country that was like half husky, half wolf, and this thing was fucking huge. First off, let me just say, I didn't know that wolves. Oh, double check. I didn't know wolves were this fucking big. In the movies, and I'm sure they do this because they can film these wolves easier. Like in the movies, they look like huskies, right? Wolves, they don't look that big. But dude, I fucking saw wolves in Nebraska at this like safari thing, and I was like, is that fucking Jacob from fucking Twilight? Like, is this thing about to turn into this like dude? Like, God, like these things are that big. They're huge, man. I mean, their heads are like this. I mean, it's wild. Like, you see a pack of those, you don't even need a pack to kill you. You just need one. You're done, dude. You are done. And I think the other wolves, they're like kind of like more like dog size. They're still big. They're more like dog size, And I think they probably just use those in movies because they're probably easier to like control and film. Because, dude, I'm telling you, you see these wolves, you're like, I don't want to film that thing. Fuck that. That thing's gonna tear my face off. It's kind of like people getting chimpanzees and having them tear their fucking face off. That's crazy, man. That's wild. It's crazy. God, I'm sick, dude. I gotta stop. apes and monkeys and shit, I always wanted to get a monkey and just train it. You know what I mean? Just have it, walking around and shit. But I don't know, man. There's a lot of cases where the monkeys flip out and fuck you up because they're so fucking strong. There was this monkey. I grew up down the street from this PetSmart, and those of you who are local and watching me, they know everybody around here, dude, in Kansas City, or not Kansas, the outskirts of Kansas City, around this area, knows Frankie the monkey. I don't know, even people that are pretty far away know this PetSmart, and they know this monkey. His name's Frankie, and I feel bad for him because he's in a cage, dude. And I'm like, man, I think they take him out and the owner plays with him or something. I think he only likes like one person. But it's just kind of sad that this dude's never going to get out of this cage. And he's been in there. Dude, he's still there, I'm pretty sure. I seen him when I was like 9 years old. I'm 21 now. It's wild that this monkey's been in there in cage for so long. But, dude, this monkey used to, like, look at you and then jump at the fucking cage. And then he'd look at you, jump, go, try to get you. He was an angry son of a bitch. Like, if you let that motherfucker out, dude, he'd be jumping on you, grabbing your hair and shit, probably humping you, face fucking you and stuff. Like, that monkey it was like the little monkey from The Hangover 2. This thing was wild, dude. And it used to take its dick and look at you and start jacking off. Anytime there was a girl in there, he'd look at the girl, start jacking off, and look, and then he'd lean down and suck his own dick. And I was like, God, of course, I'd be doing that if I was locked in a cage, too. I'd be like, get me the fuck out of here. I'm bored, man. Let me get the hell out of here. Jesus. Kids are inside. We're good. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, I'm locked in. He has nothing else to do. He can't bang any other monkey bitches because all he has is his hand, They practically made this guy an incel, man. Poor fucking monkey. Poor Frankie. His name was Frankie. Frankie the monkey, man. Everybody knows Frankie around here, man. Poor dog, dude. God, that's terrible. Like, why would you do that to him, man? Get him sold. Like, you think but here's the thing is that no one wants to buy this monkey because it's fucking nuts. If you bought it, it'd probably start fucking attacking your dog and start tearing shit up, and then it'd probably get out and go to the mall and climb like Legos and shit, climb on people, and, maybe we should let it out. Maybe he solved Corona. Maybe Frankie's the way to solve Corona. I don't know. I'd think so. Maybe his DNA just needs to be used for, I don't know what I'm saying. I think, I heard something go off. I think AIDS came from Africa. Like, supposedly came from, like, monkeys, I think. Like, apes and shit. And I think it got brought over here, supposedly from someone. I've heard that theory. Like, someone had a monkey or a chimp, and they fucking, I don't know, bit somebody and spreaded it, and that's where it came from. That's wild, man. That's wild. A disease like that is I wonder if the monkeys or whatever just live with it. You know what I mean? I wonder if they just live with the disease, or if they can live with it. Like, it's just a disease they can just live with, or I wonder if they actually die like a human does. I imagine they just die like a human does, but that's wild, man. That's wild. I need a fact checker to look that up. That's crazy. Man. STDs are wild. STDs are a wild thing. They just spread it everywhere. Just spreading. It's crazy. If you think about it, I can't remember who it was. It was probably on Rogan. Don't want to copy too much from him, but I heard this thing about, like, if everyone stopped having sex for just 2 weeks, I think about it, everybody gets a shot, there'd be no more chlamydia, there'd be no more gonorrhea, because no one's going to get it. We just stopped having sex, but that's not going to happen. We're animals, man. You know what movie I like? I think it's called It Follows. It's literally a scary movie about STDs. They fuck somebody, and when they fuck that person, the ghost the demon follows them, right? So they gotta fuck someone else to get rid of that demon. And it's it's kind of a crazy concept. It's an STD. It's what it is, but it's scary. It's really scary. Like, it actually, like, really makes you think, like, dude, STDs are scary, bro. They are fucking scary. And the fact that they're like, I mean, you should be demonizing it, you know? Speaking of that, I remember one time it was the same film class I had. Someone in my film class was talking about how they didn't like Split because they thought it demonized people with mental issues. So I can see that, but I feel all in all it's just a movie. Like, people with multiple personalities, like, that's the thing is, it's like, I get where you're coming from, and if I had that, I'd probably be a little offended, I guess, but, like, just be like, I'm not a monster, I just, but at the same time, like, you gotta think from the writer's perspective, that is a cool concept, it's like, dude, this person has multiple personalities, that's such a scary movie setup. I mean, you have people who are inbred, you know what I mean, and those are movie concepts, or, like, Hills of Ice, people who got bombed, and they all get disfigured and shit, Or Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that was like kind of an inbreedy movie. Those are real people, and he like had a mental problem. Same with Michael Myers, they kind of demonized that too. It'd be different if you actually had like an actual like guy with Down syndrome just fucking killing people. That would be really fucked up. That would be really fucked up to make a movie like that. But I guess, I don't know. Just have different opinions. I mean, I get where they're coming from, though, but I think if you actually had, I don't know. They should make a document. I bet there is a documentary on that, like people with multiple different personalities. I bet some actors have it, man. I bet some actors actually like mentally drive themselves to have that. Like they're so like how Heath Ledger was. I don't know the whole thing, so it could be just bullshit. But like, supposedly Heath Ledger got so caught up in being the Joker, so he had to take pills, and he was just going nuts, because actors really do get so into a role, they become it. I remember Jim Carrey, that documentary about Jim Carrey, he got so into being, Andy, I forgot his last name, from Taxi, and realized, like, he said I think he said he had to go somewhere in the documentary for a while to, like, find Jim Carrey again, man. Oh, what's up, baby girl? You want to be on a podcast? And that's crazy that itself is crazy to think of. Oh, baby. That's crazy itself to think of, like, oh, baby. No. To just think about, like, someone can drive themselves to becoming another person. I mean, it's crazy, but it's also not, because people will be around people, start acting like other people, or, you know what I mean? Or people, you see people copying other people, trying to act like other people, and you see people just copying mannerisms of other people, picking it up and stuff like that. So it's really not that crazy to think of it. It just kind of shows how freaking powerful the mind is, and how powerful you can convince yourself some things. You keep convincing yourself, I'm this, I'm that, you're going to become that, man, if you convince yourself. You convince yourself you're scared of heights, you're going to be scared of heights. Don't get me wrong, legitimately there's people scared of heights. I'm fucking claustrophobic. I know I'm claustrophobic. And I still to this day am very claustrophobic. Like, I would not go into a tunnel, like a small tunnel or small spaces. I fucking hate them. You know what I mean? But I know that I'm not totally claustrophobic. Like, in some little spaces I'm fine, but that being said, like, I've told myself that for years to where I'm not claustrophobic. Maybe if I would have been like, hey, I'm not claustrophobic, then I don't know, I'd be able to overcome it, but I don't think so, dude. I can't. Small spaces scare the shit out of me. I saw this water slide in some country, some village somewhere, and it was like literally a hole in a cave, and these kids were sliding down it, and it was just big enough for a kid to fit in, for a person to fit in, and they had like this hose out of this like bamboo stick going down, and they were just sliding down this thing. I was so terrified watching it, because I was like, in my brain, I'm like, what if they get stuck in there, and then they get stuck, and then it just piles up with bodies, and what if I'm in the middle, and I'm a really wide guy, and I'm freaking out? I think I'd be like, go! Someone go! Just go down the side! Or I'd be looking up like, crawl! Crawl up! Like, that is the scariest. Fuck that, man. I am not doing that. I am not doing that. But I love heights, though. I will go on any roller coaster in the world, I swear to God. Any roller coaster in the world, I don't care how crazy it is. I love it, dude. I'll go high up, you know. I did get a little terrified of heights when I started working with my uncles. My uncles knocked me off a ladder a couple times because they're deaf. They can't hear. But, whatever. Oh, I love those guys. Or almost caught me off a ladder, but I never did. I never got knocked off a ladder. I just, like, they bumped into my ladder a couple times. I was like, whoa. But they're great workers. You know. That's another thing, man. Working with family is crazy. Working with family is crazy because you find out who they are, and you find that you hear stories, and dude, especially on my dad's side, dude, they're just the best storytellers you'll ever meet, man. They're such characters. They're so funny guys, man, and they'll tell you, and they're older, my dad's 62. My other uncle, I think, is 61 or 60, and the other one's 56, and so on. They have all these stories, man, and it's just wonderful to hear them. You really get to find out who they were, who your dad was, who your uncles were back in the day. You really get to find, you get a glimpse of it when they talk, man. And I think that's important to have, you know. Especially if you're good at telling a story, you get to hear it like vividly and stuff like that. And that's I think I'm pretty good at telling stories, man. And that's kind of where I get it from a little bit because you know, they're real vivid, they're real like specific. And even my brother, who's quiet, man, on my dad's side, when that guy tells a story, like everyone just shuts up and listens because he's so funny when he tells it. He's just so entertaining. It's definitely a gift to have, man. I love people who tell stories, dude, who are good at it, especially. You know, kind of drives me nuts. It pisses me off. It very rarely happens. It happened to me last night. My mom's friend came over, who I've known for years. I remember I was telling this story that I've told a million times, but I was telling it to her, and it was kind of more the fact that I did not feel like telling it, so I shortened the story. It just wasn't funny, and I was stuttering. He goes, and when I was stuttering, it kind of pissed me off because like, God, I'm such a good storyteller. I totally butchered that story, but at the same time, man, you say the same story over and over again. It's like, all right, let's find a new one. This one's old. It's too much. It's too much. There's some stories I can tell over and over, and it won't get old. But most of the time, I just like to move on. A lot of crazy shit happens to me during the day that I can tell, and I don't want crazy stuff and goofy and weird stuff to not stop happening to me. Like I want that, but I also want somewhat of a peaceful life. Like I don't want to have to go through a bunch of crazy bullshit, But you can't choose that, man. That's all either God or the universe or whatever you believe in, man. That's all up to him. We're really not in control as much as we think. We're in control of the things that, like, you got to get up off your ass and go get it, but you're not in control of the stuff around you. And that's one thing, man. When you let go of shit that you're not in control of, which I think everybody has that problem no matter who you are, it's just, things get way more peaceful. Something happens, you're just like, well, shit. Obviously if something tragic happens, that's really hard to let go, man. That's really hard. I just had my friend on recently. She talked about losing her kid, and I just couldn't imagine that, man. I couldn't imagine letting that go. It's a hard thing to let go, but you know what? Her and her husband are some wonderful people. I love their vibe that they give, man. I love everything about them. I knew her. I got to meet him for the first time. They're just hilarious. Both of them just funny as hell, and just giving off such good vibes, such positivity. And it's true. You go through some shit, you become a character, man. You get more and more character. You get a better personality, and I saw so much personality in them, man, and they just really brought joy. I think, and I also think a lot of people go through hard times. They don't want anyone else going through those hard times, so they make sure, to spread joy, and that's just a wonderful thing too. Just people who do that, people who spread joy, people who have these positive energies, have been through so much. Maybe that's what, come and bring it back. Oh shit, circle around, bring it back to what I talked about in the beginning about people missing legs and stuff and having such a good character. They don't want anyone else to go through it, That's another thing is, like, when people haven't gone through something, and maybe they have, I don't know, but sometimes some people haven't gone through something, they inflict hate and jealousy and just nasty things onto people because they've never been through something bad enough to where they really don't want someone, you know what I mean, to hurt. You know, they don't want someone to hurt. People who've been through stuff generally, I want to say, generally don't want people to go through the same shit they went through, you know. I don't know. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Jealousy's a big thing also that I think is people need to control it. People need to use it as fire, man. You know, if you get jealous, use it. Like, man, I'm a little jealous that this guy has this car, this guy has this house, or this girl has this girl has that, or man, this person's making, you know, doing better than me. Man, use it. Like, use it to fuel you. Don't get jealous and be a bitch about it. Like, use it. I don't know how we got onto this, so don't link anything I said earlier up to this. This is a total separate thing, but, you know, use it to just move on and work hard. You know, if you get jealous and just hold yourself back and make excuses, that's another thing, dude. I hate when I hear people, and I used to do this all the time, and I can confidently say I stopped. You know, if something's not going, for example, my production right now sucks, that's my fault. There's nothing else I'm not blaming anyone else, you know what I mean? Granted, yeah, I do got to save money, you know, for stuff that I want to do, and just right now it's not in the works, but I could prioritize that and set me back for my ultimate goal to go buy some cameras and shit. But hey, man, I'm not, you know what I mean? That's what am I going to do? I'm not sitting here whining and bitching about it. Well, I mean, I'm telling you, but I'm not whining and bitching about it being you know, I'm just owning up to it. That's my fault. God, and that's the thing is people don't own up to shit, you know, and I get it. Maybe I still do that too, but fuck, man, excuses are just horrible. People just love to freaking use them. Like, oh, well, it was actually that person's fault. It wasn't, and you hear it from some of the most pathetic people, dude. They just tell you these, God, and I could have a few in my head right now. I could just fucking name drop a diss track on them, but they just like to blame everyone else, and it just, you know, you ever have someone you just know through a friend or someone like that you have to encounter with, and you hear them bitch about shit, you hear them cry about stuff, you're just like, dude, sounds like a problem that you inflicted on yourself, you know what I mean? You know, and there's an extent to like actual valid like complaining about something. Like, you got to be open up and vulnerable with your emotions to be able to get stuff out. Be honest. That, hey man, I feel like I can't do this because of this. You got to be, you know, that there's always a balance. Life is about balance, and that's with everything. But some people, man, they just are off balance with that shit. They just like to fucking fuck up your day by complaining about shit that doesn't fucking matter or shit that's totally their fault, and they like to make some bullshit story. Makes no fucking sense. Oh, I couldn't do this because of this. Oh, I could, dude, just fucking, God. I know I'm like beating around the bush because I just have so many specific stories of people telling me shit, of excuses, and I'd love to tell you guys. I fucking would love to. But you know what? I know these person might watch this and get fucking mad, and I'm not out of the state from them yet, so I can't do it. But when I'm in Austin, you fucking be ready, because it's coming for y'all. Yeah. Until they fucking, like, comment all my shit and stuff like that. Whatever, I don't give a fuck. Oh. It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood. Hey, honey dogs. My dog's name's Honey. She's the best honeydew ever. She's the best honey bunny. Look at that honeydew. She got all money, man, and I just washed her. I guess she's not that bad. She just baked it in the sun. God, I love my dogs. Hey, man, you know, my hair did look good today, by the way. Let's do it. Oh, look at that. Oh, no. Look like a lesbian. Kind of ruined it a little bit. There we go. Look at that. You know, the only flaw is that it's too poofy. I need to layer it. I need to get it layered, baby. I look like Ned's Declassified right now. Roast my ass. Look like fucking Ned's Declassified. That was a great show for for my, I wouldn't even, you know what, it's weird, my generation, like 98 to like 2002 or whatever, that's like not even, it's not, you're not a millennial, but you're also not a Gen Z or whatever the fuck it is. You're not that. So what the fuck are you? You know what I mean? That's crazy that I feel like you know what though? I will, and maybe it's just my, and I know a lot of pussies, and I do think overall, from like 95 to now, like a lot of kids are pussies. A lot of people are pussies, but I feel like my generation is a little tougher than Gen Z. I think we're a lot tough because I know a lot of people, a lot of fucking people who are tough kids, man, growing up. You know, from they're like 98, 97, those guys. You know, kind of. But it's just weird though because I feel like our generation we have this weird from 98 to 2002. We're like in the middle of this shit. We're not a millennial, but we're not Gen Z, so we're in the middle of it. So we kind of have characteristics of both, and I feel like that's a real thing. Because when I meet people around my age, I get we're the same age, so we have a general the same idea. But when I talk to people like 3 or 4 years younger than me, there is, I wouldn't say there's a disconnect, but there's, I guess, yeah, I would say there's a small, slight disconnect of shit. You know, just like when I talk to a millennial, like I could get along really well with a millennial. But there's always going to be that age difference in there that we just can't relate to. Granted, I had older brothers that were millennials, so I could relate a little bit better than maybe some other people my age. But there's always still somewhat of a, and that's another thing I always worry about when I talk to older people. I'm like, God, I wonder how dumb I fucking sound to them. Because I know when I talk to people younger than me, sometimes, not always, because there's some people you wouldn't tell that are young. They talk like normal people. But sometimes I'm like, God, I bet this person thinks I'm a fucking idiot talking. Like, there's no way that, like, the shit that I'm saying, they're probably like, God, shut this kid up. He is so young and so ignorant and so arrogant, you know. But, you know, the arrogance is just my personality, though. I know I'm a little arrogant. I know I'm a little cocky. But I'd rather be that than not, you know. I'd rather be... And the thing is, I've lost a lot of my confidence over the years of restarting my life, you know, moving on and just finding out what's new with my life. Yeah, like, because I'm sure everyone right now is a little less confident than they used to be, like in high school or whatever, because they're figuring stuff out. But man, I'm regaining it. It feels better. I'm going on another path, and you know, my personality just is very. Like I said, I like to carry myself well. I like to be very confident. I'm very confident. I don't gotta tell myself that. You know, that's the good thing is when you don't gotta tell yourself you're confident. There was a time period when I like a year ago when I like lost it, man. I felt like I was not confident at all, and I kept telling myself like I'm confident. I was like, dude, if you have to fucking tell yourself you're not. And it was really weird because I was like, I've never been like this a day in my life. I've always been a very confident, goofy, funny. If you think I'm funny, you know, dashingly charming and good-looking guy. And there's just a time period where I just did not feel like that, you know. But slowly but surely, Lucas Shirley's coming back. And that's a misconception. What some people think, oh well, you're just gonna be this, be that. Like, no, dude. You gotta carry yourself well. You gotta carry yourself well, and you gotta be the best person you could be, and be as confident as possible. And when I think of like me being Lucas Shirley, you know, Lucas Shirley's my alter ego. When I think about that guy, I just think about the confidence is Lucas Shirley. You know, I'm Luke Goff. That's where I was born. But my alter ego, Lucas Shirley, as I like to joke around, is really more my confidence, man. Because that motherfucker is... That will save you. That will save you, and that will help you in life. It'll help you. In this thing is you can have confidence talking and being vulnerable to someone. You know what I mean? You can still have confidence while being vulnerable and talking to someone. Being nice to people. That's still Lucas Shirley. You know what I mean? That's still the confidence. I have confidence enough to talk to someone and ask them, hey, are you all right, man? Are you doing good? Dude, there's this guy on Facebook. He kept posting some shit, like some depressing stuff. And I'm kind of mad I didn't message him, but I felt like I need to. I might have to do that after this. I don't even know the guy, but, you know, I was like, man, he just seems so down, you know, and I need to, having the confidence to message that person and be like, hey, are you all right? Or saying like, hey man, you don't sound so good or whatever. That's real confidence right there to me. You know, while being vulnerable. At the same time. But I didn't message that person because I kind of creeped on their page. I was like looking, and they I think they deleted a lot of their depressing posts. So I was like, man, maybe it'd be weird if I messaged him because he deleted those. So maybe he didn't. Maybe it's just one depressing post, and I took it the wrong way. So if I see another one though, I will message, and that's girl, guy, whatever, anybody. If I don't know you, man, and you're generally reaching out, like there's those people on Facebook that and Instagram just like to fucking complain and oh, everything's so bad and there's those people all the time. But when someone is just kind of subtle, that's when it's real, man. That's when it's real. When someone is happy for the most part, posting funny stuff, but then they every now and then might post a little. Actually, I might have to message that guy because like most of their posts will be happy and joking around and stuff like that, and then they'll just post one like little like kind of real sensitive, real depressing post, and I think that's like usually like people who are really down right now because you can tell they're trying with all the happy stuff. It's crazy how we look at it because it's posting, This is another generation of communication, man. Generation of communication, of posting. You're posting shit and you're literally seeing people, you're reading people through posts, People who complain all the time, you're like, they're just whiny little bitches, but people you see like, posting funny stuff and stuff like that, but then every now and then they got this little depressing post or something that's real, but it's not over the top. It's just a real subtle post about maybe being a little depressed or something like that. Those are the people I think you got to watch out for. Because, dude, a lot of the funniest people are really depressed. And that's a real fucking thing. I don't care what anyone says. I'll argue all day that probably the most funniest people are really down on themselves. I'm fucking tired of these goddamn robots messaging me. Hey, baby, I'm 2 miles away. Okay. Can you cook? Can you cook? He's sexist. He only wants women to cook for him. I need to start cooking. I like cooking. Cooking is a good trait to have, man. Some people can't cook. Some people can bake. My mom can't cook. God love her. She could bake. My golf, on my dad's side, they could cook, man. They gotta have a little black in them. I swear to God, they have to. They got soul, man. They got soul in their food. It tastes fucking delicious. And my mom's side, my grandma, she could cook really well. That's because she grew up super poor. So there's soul in her food, man. You grew up poor, man, you probably could cook because you got to whip some shit up, She grew up in like a house like the size of my leg, man. Like this house was small, She grew up pretty rough, so she could cook, man. She could cook like no other. But I've had some rich people food, and it is horrible. Every time I eat someone who's rich, their food is disgusting, man. It is god awful. It's always like the most plain. Oh man, I have this story about going to someone's funeral. Went on the rich side of their family, and I ate this sandwich. They catered these sandwiches. I don't know if they made them or catered them, but it was like the most plain ham sandwich with cheese, and the cheese wasn't even melted, and the cheese was just there. It just tasted like plastic. I was like, god awful. Luckily they had cookies, and even the cookies, I was like, dude, you guys are so rich, you don't even know what to fucking order. You guys are so bad at cooking and baking, just overall food, that you don't even know what to fucking order. You know what I mean? You guys just probably looked at the most expensive thing and got it. But that's another thing, man. You got soul, baby. You got soul, you can cook. I'm telling you, you got soul, you got some heart in your food, you can cook, man. It's got to have some character for them cooks, baby. It's one of those things, bro. One of those things, dude. My dad's side could cook really well. My grandma could cook. My mom could bake, though. She could bake. Some people just generally just can't cook, though. And sometimes they're good at baking. My mom can bake, dude. That's why I'm a little chunky. My mom can bake. I can't bake. I can't bake worth shit because the thing is, I like to test things out. I like to just throw shit in there and see what's good. It never comes out all right, dude. Well, because you can't do that with baking. You got to be precise. I'm not a precise person, as you can tell. I like to wing things, baby. I'm good. I'm good on the fly. I'm good. That's one good trait that I have about myself. You get me on the spot with a lot of pressure, I'm gonna fucking nail it. Okay? Not always, but 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna nail it. Now, if I have no pressure, just try it out. I'm gonna overthink it and fuck it up. You know what I mean? You got a football right in front of you. Okay? Stand full of people, or arena full of people. This is pre-COVID. You got to make the field goal. You got to kick the field goal to win the game. Oh, so much pressure. The pressure's on. 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna fucking yam that in there, dude. 9 times out of fucking 10, I'm gonna yam that in there. Now, now COVID has happened. We are not gonna win the game if I make this. The game is it's really a scrimmage. Nothing matters, and it's just a practice run. This is doesn't make any sense. I'm not gonna make it. I'm gonna fucking overthink it and fuck it up. I'm gonna overthink it. But I lie. Maybe if there's too much pressure, I might fuck it up. I don't know. But that's that one time. 9 times out of 10, I'm getting it, dude. I am nailing it. I am nailing it. Well, it's been real, fellas, ladies and gentlemen. What would be the lady term for fellas? Lassies and fellas. Ladies and gents. Bitches and hoes. Thank you all for listening. Hopefully it entertains you. I feel like this is one of my better podcasts. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Ladies and gents.